Perfect. So this is Clare Panchoo, Born to be Yummy, a product range of healthy snacks for children that's just about to launch. Claire, can you give us your 3 tips for anybody who is inventing or coming up with a new kind of children's food product, or a new food product indeed?
Well, probably the first tip I would say is to research your market very, very well and be really, really sure that there is a gap there in the market, or that you've got something that is new or unique, and also that it's something that people actually need or want. So the first thing I would say is maybe do some research. Places like the British Library have got great resources for researching Mintel reports, things like that, to try and look at the market, and also then just do some field research yourself and go out and chat to who might be your potential market and find out a little bit about what they would want. So that would definitely be my first tip. Second thing, I guess, would be to start planning things like route to market, and then building a business plan around that. And looking at what you might need in terms of funding, and your, sort of planning your financials for the first few years.
Is that 2 things then? Is the route to market about how you're going to sell this, or who you're going to sell it to?
Well, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, I guess it's initially deciding who your market is. So what is your product? Is there a gap, and who is your market?
Right, yeah.
Probably is the sort of first thing to do. Second thing then is obviously looking at planning how you're going to get to that market. Yeah. So whether they shop in supermarkets, whether you're going down an independent route, whether it's going to be something very much based online, or it's going to be in sort of a farmer's market, or somewhere that your target market are shopping and going frequently, and so sort of planning how you're going to reach your market will be the second thing.
No, Born to be Yummy is actually a great brand, not launched yet, but it's still great branding. Have you got any tips around branding and packaging?
Not really. Well, I've got no background in it, so I guess what I've tried to do with my own company is just what really felt most natural. So I guess it sort of came about as to, I guess, what reflected me in a way, and how I talk about the products, and how I've talked about them at events, when I'm Children's Food Festival. What I sort of chose to talk about, how I chose to decorate the stand. So a lot of it comes from, I guess, sort of develops naturally from who you are. And I think with products aimed at children and obviously mums, then I think that is very, feels very natural, I hope, for other mums, that actually, that the product has been very developed in a very organic way, the brand, from who I am and my personality and my kind of lifestyle.
Did you go to an agency to get the actual packaging design? Did you get any expert input?
I did, yes, yeah, I did. I mean, I had sort of quite a clear idea of what I wanted, and then I found an experience agency who are experienced in putting FMCG products, on the shelves.
That's fast-moving consumer goods.
That's right. Yes, yeah. I had to Google that the first time I heard that in a meeting. So they've obviously been helping in terms of because when you're looking at a food product, there are dimensions of the shelf which each retailer has, and they like things to come in packs, in sort of shelf-ready trays with a certain number of your retail packs inside that then fit the dimensions of the shelf, 1.5, and so they've all got their own little rules about that. And so,
how do you find that out?
That was really in my case, my design agency have been really fantastic, because that's something that they have had a lot of experience of.
And who was the design agency for you? Are you allowed to say?
Yeah, well, I assume so. Yes, they call the Mint Agency, and they're based in Beaconsfield. Yes, and so they were experienced on FMCG products and developing packaging that fits well on the shelves.
What about on the manufacturing side? Because I know that you've had some horrible glitches there. Would you have any recommendations around finding a manufacturer?
I would say, from my own experience, it's probably expected to take quite a lot of legwork on your part, and that you're unlikely to find a manufacturer. Well, you'd be very lucky maybe if you found a manufacturer very quickly, but it probably depends what type of product and how many manufacturers, and how, what the sort of constraints are in terms of matching your products with a manufacturer, and how closely they need to match for it to be easy for them to kind of build your products into their production lines. So I guess it depends on what kind of product and what category you're going into, and it may be easier in some categories than others, but that's certainly one of the most trickiest bits of putting the whole thing together to launch in May, has been finding the right manufacturer. And then when I have, there's been sort of issues where manufacturers then are being bought by other companies and or being acquired or gone into administration, and so it can be quite a fast-moving, eventful industry, food manufacturing. And so I would say that expect it to take quite a lot of time, and you'll need to do a lot of legwork and a lot of research, and also don't expect that when you found who you believe is the right manufacturer to work with, for then it all to be plain sailing through to launch. And beyond that as well, I think it can be quite a tricky relationship to manage, and so you need to really get very good legal advice and make sure that you've got a good license agreement in place, and that's really watertight. And I would also suggest that people have backup manufacturers in place, or are not putting all their products through one manufacturer to make, and maybe having sort of 2 or 3 different manufacturers making different products. That might also then make it easier for new product development as well. If you're then actually working with a new manufacturer.
So don't put all your eggs in one basket then.
Yes.
Thank you, Claire, that was brilliant.
Okay.